on this computer. There we go. Hi!
Good afternoon, Miss Mims. How are you today?
I'm fantastic. How are you?
I'm fine. I can see you got your computer stuff fixed.
I did. I'd like to apologize to our dear listener. Dear listener.
Our solo listener.
Our solo listener. I had a new mattress put in, and a new bed frame, and my drag room, as it were, was taken up by an old mattress and an old bed frame because the trash people won't collect them anymore because of COVID. So my fat ass had to rent a truck, throw it in the truck, and go to the dump to get rid of said mattress.
Oh man, that's
and said bed.
You know what though? I'll say this, right? I'll say this for the audience right now. We were built for that kind of action because we come from a place where that's what we used to have to do anyway.
It's exactly right. You threw it out in the yard for a while, or you took it to the dump.
That's right. Except we didn't do any like truck rentals. We just found the nearest person with a truck.
Right. But you know, in this time of COVID, my ass ain't going into a truck.
No, I wouldn't do that either. No. No, that's not what we want to do. So, hello, listeners. Welcome to Baking Sugar, the Designing Women podcast.
Are we just going into that? We are doing a Mims. Okay, we'll do that then.
I thought we were going to do 2 baking sugars today.
Let's do 2 baking sugars. It's going to be easier than... This is not getting edited out because we need a little bit of filler to start this episode anyway. So, like...
So if you thought we were going to be doing machinations this week, no, we're going to do 2 of our baking sugar podcasts because why not? Let's give the people what they want, and there's more people that like that than
Oh yeah. There are, so that will be, dear listeners, there's 2 of you.
That's right. One of which left us an amazing review.
They really did.
Completely unsolicited. We didn't solicit it at all.
No, thank you for your reviews. Like, subscribe, do all of those things. We use Spreaker to post our podcast. So if you post us a note on Apple or any of the other places out there, it may take us a minute to find it, but we will find it and we will thank you.
That's right. We are located almost everywhere podcasts can be listened to at this point.
That's exactly right.
Whether you like it or not.
That's exactly right. And you know what? I like it.
I love it. I've had actual people tell me that it's actually making their weeks better just listening to us.
You know what? And one of the things I love is looking on there because so if Spreaker uses their algorithm and sees that that I'm talking about them, maybe we'll get an extra boost of money. Speaking of, join our Patreon.
Please join our Patreon. Please, we need this money.
So I love looking at where in the world all of our listeners come from. We have some in Germany now, some in Austria, some in India, some in Algeria, Indonesia. A couple in Indiana.
People love Southern talk.
It's exactly right, and we do talk a lot.
We talk a lot, bitch.
A lot. So, are you ready? What were you going to say?
I was going to say, speaking of talking, how are you doing? We haven't really checked in on each other.
I'm doing quite fine. By the way, I'm the Divine Miss Mims.
And I'm your gracious Auntie Maim, your gracious auntie in house.
I'm doing fine. Nothing new, nothing too exciting. Just, working, quote unquote, living the dream, as some people say. I never exactly understood what that means, but apparently I'm doing it. Yeah. What about you, Auntie?
I'm okay. I just found a random Chewy Red Hot just now on the shelf beside me, so that was a bonus. I'm not going to eat it, but it was really cool because I forgot that they existed for a little bit. So no, I'm doing good. It's been a couple of weeks of doing drag down in Miami, so that was fun. Taking up the new mantle of doing stand-up comedy, which is interesting. I just kind of got thrown into that pool.
Are you funny?
They tell me I am.
Okay, good. That's enough. That's all you need. You know, Ellen made a career out of that. So,
you know, you already know I would never personally say that I'm funny because I have no idea. But yeah.
I will say you're not quite sociopathic as Ellen, so you may not have a career.
Yeah, so, that's true. Actually, I do date them though, so there you go.
Well, you know.
Oh my god.
What?
This is such a major day. People don't even understand. Like, we've been teasing this for like the last like 5 episodes, and it's finally here, and I'm so excited.
Well, does that mean you want to get involved in this episode?
Oh my god, let's do it. Let's go ahead and jump in because I'm very excited.
Okay, this is episode 6, Design House.
I'm Julia Sugarbakers. I'm Julia Sugarbakers. I'm Julia Sugarbakers. I'm Julia Sugarbakers. And that's Marjorie. Just so you will know, and your children will someday know, is the night the lights went out in Georgia. The lights went out, the lights went out, the lights went out, the lights went out. And that is the night the lights went out in Georgia.
I'm sorry, I didn't know.
Well, now you do.
From November 17th, 1986.
So, we're starting at Sugarbakers.
Yes.
Charlene and Maryjo are recording on an answering machine. For those who are part of Gen Z, back in the day, we had these devices that were like voicemail, but we actually had to, use a cassette. Are cassettes still around?
No, they're making a comeback, actually.
Oh, why? They're horrible.
I mean, it's a thing. It's just a thing. I saw it actually popped up on Facebook that Amazon was like, hey, we have cassette players again. I was like, oh, that's back? Okay.
Speaking of things that are back, you know what's back? Radio Shack. You can go to radioshack.com. Some like group bought their whole like supply of stuff, and they're slowly releasing some of the stuff out. Like
That's
some of the
so
weird shit. Yeah, it's great. It's great. And I have thought about buying one of their shirts because they've got the old Radio Shack logo on a red shirt.
I want that. My dad worked at Radio Shack for a while.
See, I loved Radio Shack. It was the second best place in the mall to work after the Dollar Tree.
Wait a minute. What about the Sugar Shack or whatever it was called?
The Sweet and Nutty.
That was it.
They had rats.
You've ruined my day.
Anyway, so Charlene is making a very sultry. Hi, thank you for calling Sugarbakers. Blah 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 blah.
Oh man. So here's my favorite part, right? I like giving history to some of these back end comments. So Maryjo is she says that she stopped paying attention when she was trying to figure out how Charlene got inhabited by the Lander sisters. So for our audience that has no idea who the Lander sisters are, especially for younger audience listeners, back in the 80s and the late 70s, there were these 2 beautiful blonde women that were the Lander sisters. It was Judy and Audrey. I was a big fan of theirs because they had perfected the art of the dumb blonde. Like, they literally made a career out of being the dumb blonde in like every TV show and every movie and everything. And so when they're talking about her here, that was their trade. It was like being very sexy but dumb, which was what they were basically just calling Charlene.
Yeah. So Julia comes over and is like, this is for business. So Maryjo's like, do you want to try? And then she comes over, grabs the mic. Charlie says, you have 10 seconds and go. Hello, this is the machine. You know what to do.
I felt like that was something that you would do.
I've done that before.
Yeah.
Yeah.
As soon as when it happened, I was like, that sounds like Miss Mims.
I mean, who's got to now I have to do. Back when I worked at the Statesville Holiday Inn Express Hotel and Suites, this is the Divine Miss Mims. How may I help you? I learned that you actually have to, put some effort into things.
Yes,
and
dear.
then you have to take this voice so that people will respond to you better. Maybe I should actually start doing this voice over this podcast.
I don't.
Hi.
No. I think the only time you should ever do that voice during a podcast is if we ever get booked on the Savage Love podcast. That's it. That's it.
Or if I start doing the ASM stuff, and this is me scratching paper.
Oh man. Do you remember back when we used to have to do this kind of stuff and you actually had to tape the music off of radio or TV or things like that for the background music? Oh man.
Oh yeah, absolutely. So there is one thing I noticed. There's one thing I noticed in the scene.
What?
They cut off a foot from Charlene's chair. It is now normal height.
Oh.
It is the same chair. They just cut the legs down so it would be normal height for her.
That's so funny because I remembered her being lower, but I thought it was a different chair. That's really funny.
Yeah.
Wow.
So Suzanne comes in, and she's upset that she never gets to do anything.
Wait. Let's don't start there. Remember, we have to talk about Madeline Adams and the fact that they had a canceled meeting, and they had a canceled meeting because Suzanne went to a party the night before, and when Suzanne was at the party the night before, because she was bored, she decided to attract all the men, including Madeline's husband, who then got pushed into a pool with Suzanne. They then stayed in the pool together because it was warm. Yeah. Well, that just leads to Suzanne complaining to have to do all the social stuff and blah, 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 blah. Interject, Charlene ate a whole pie last night. But going back to Suzanne. I love when she referred to her date book as a waltz.
Uh-huh.
It was like lunch, dinner, lunch, dinner, lunch, brunch. I was like, oh my God, it is a waltz.
Do you know what came to mind during this scene?
What?
Elaine Stritch. Here's to the ladies who lunch.
The next time we have a Broadway night at the theater, I'm going to do that song. I'm just telling you right now, that's basically my number one. I want to do this song before I die.
Yep. Oh, absolutely. It's a fantastic song. But just make sure that you throw the glass on the ground and scream.
Yes. Oh, Elaine. I love her.
Yeah. So, Suzanne's also a little bit upset because she feels like she feels like people are saying things like that, that she's not a design person and she's just a bimbo front person, because they actually physically told her she's not a design person and she's a bimbo front person.
I love that exchange too when Suzanne's like, she talks about all they ever want her to do is eat. That's her only contribution to the firm. And Julia's response says, well, if the bib fits. I was like, good Lord, they are savage this time. Like, this week was hard.
Yeah. So she states she's a partner and she wants to do something. And then the black man enters.
The black man, as in the guy that we've been waiting for this entire time. Anthony Bouvier has entered the building.
I would like to apologize in a past podcast. I referred to Anthony Bouvier or / Meshach Taylor as being a homosexual. He was not. He was married with kids. However, if you ever watch
Wait. Let's hold on. Let's pause for a moment. Okay. we can joke about Meshack Taylor being a homosexual all day long because Meshack Taylor got his fame from playing one of the first big screen homosexuals in a major Hollywood movie.
Right, in Mannequin.
And he came back for a sequel.
Oh, he was in Mannequin 2?
He was the only character from Mannequin 2 that came back.
Rerun, what was his name?
Hollywood.
Hollywood. What is Rerun?
Yeah. Reruns from It's Happening. Remember What's Happening?
Oh, yeah. No, yeah. So, I apologize to the late Meshack Taylor's family for insinuating that he was homosexual. However, in my mind brain, from seeing him in youth,
he did it so well.
So well.
And not disrespectfully either, which is the best part. Like, it wasn't disrespectful.
No, he was just a gay black man.
Yeah, he just did it. He was the campiest. Literally, if you look back on like movies and television, before In Living Color had the men on film, Meshack Taylor had been the single most campy black gay character in existence.
Yep. Absolutely.
I loved it.
Me too. So, Maryjo is upset that Anthony's late.
God, she was not cute right here. Oof.
And, like, Charlene just walks over to her and is like, he has to meet with his parole officer today. And Anthony's like, yes, for my unfortunate incarceration, which you will hear this phrase over and over again.
So many times he says it. So many times.
So there's a little bit of not really plot that works out. And Julia finally's like, Suzanne, whatever. You can take the next job that comes through that door.
Oh my lord. Okay. So hold on. Let's pause real quick. So, ladies and gentlemen, and everything in between, watching our podcast, or listening to our podcast, 1986 was a very different time in America. And if any of you are going to go back and watch this on Hulu, watch it on Hulu to watch it. If anybody's going to do that, I'm just going to prepare you now that you're going to probably have some things that you're going to be offended about, because what passed as comedy back then is a little bit not what we would do now.
Yes.
So I just prefaced it with what you're about to say.
So, enter Boyd.
Boyd.
Played by Stephen Tobolowsky, who is a regular comedy, that guy. I think most recently he's in One Day at a Time.
Yep, he's a gem. He's literally like an icon of comedy at this point.
Yeah, like when you see him, it took me a minute to figure out who it was, because I think it's the color of his hair was just, I think he dyed it. It just wasn't quite right. Like, something just fantastic, though. Fantastic. And he came in and said he came in to see the 8 finest breasts in Georgia.
Yep, not ironically. That was,
nope.
They weren't upset. They weren't angry. They didn't care. They were just like, hi, Boyd.
Yeah.
This would never happen now.
Oh my God, could you imagine?
Oh, this would never happen now.
Let me take you to my HR department, the door. So Sugar Bakers has been asked to decorate a room in Design House 1986.
Yes, Design House.
And Suzanne just takes that key, because she is going to design the master bedroom.
Which they then drop a joke saying, well, it is the room she has the most experience in.
Ha-cha-cha!
You gotta love that slut-shaming in the 80s.
Oh, yeah. She didn't even... they could have, slutted her up even more if they really wanted to play into it. But whatever. Throughout the entire show, Suzanne's one of the best-dressed people there. By far. Anyway...
Soapbox.
Yeah. Every firm is babysitting the house, they get Monday nights. So apparently that was a Sunday that was Monday because it's the next day.
Well, no, it can't be. It couldn't be the next day. So what I think it was is based on the time frame. I feel like it was the Monday, whatever the next Monday was, because the ladies had already started working on it. Okay. So remember when they came back in when Charlene was doing her non-surgical facial exercises, and they were talking about how they were happy that Suzanne let them help her. So it had to be like the week after that. So they speaking of after they do the exercises, and Charlene, for those of you that have never seen these things, basically you make an O shape with your mouth, and then you bring your top of your lips all the way back to make your cheeks as tight as possible, and you make noises like you're doing laughing yoga, or you're doing Lamaze. It is the most ludicrous thing. It was huge in the 80s though. People swore that it would do something. Wait, it's still, they just have changed what it is now. They still have these types of things. Haven't you seen it pop up on your Facebook? That weird thing that looks like gum now that you put in your mouth? Like, they're still doing it. It's literally made to strengthen your jawline. And it looks like a little acorn or something like that you chew on.
Girl, our Facebook algorithms are telling us two completely different things. Apparently, your face is falling and my hair is falling out, because all I'm getting are hymns for the road and erectile dysfunction. Dear listener, I am never going to shame anyone for having erectile dysfunction. However, no. I do want to say that I do not have that. I will sign the HIPAA forms, and if my Facebook algorithm would please change to show me something I would like to see more, like half-naked men, thank you.
I mean, you know what though? Maybe you're getting those ads though because you work with chemicals.
Could be.
I mean, it could be that. They could be like, he's a man and his job is in chemicals, so we're gonna send him ads for like medicines and chemicals.
Actually, you know what it may also be? It may also be a long time ago. When this stuff started, I clicked on one of them to see what it was, because it was like pills. I'm like, what pills are you? And I think at that time it was PrEP, because you know they do PrEP, which is an antiviral for HIV. For those of you that don't know, very specific to the gay community. It shouldn't be. It should be for everybody. Look into it if you're having sex, but also please don't have sex with random people during COVID. It's just not a good idea. We can, unless you're vaccinated, keep your hoo-ha and your what's it and just move on. That was a trailing thought and I've lost it. So let's get back to this. Anthony was sent to the house to deliver an ottoman.
Yes.
And if you find out that they're all helping with the decorating, because Suzanne was very magnanimous and said, hey, you can help me decorate. And they all start considering, were they too hard on her?
I know, it was really nice, right? Like, for a minute there, that was, like, actually such
Hold on! Wait! Breaking news!
What happened?
Fire has destroyed Design House.
What? Fire destroyed the Design House? Oh, no, what are we gonna do? Oh, my God, is Suzanne okay?
And then Suzanne comes behind in this bedspread, this floral bedspread, and, like, her hair looks great. The rest of her...
I thought she looked fabulous.
Oh, yeah. And she's, like, pripping her hair in front of the cameras. And, like...
For a minute there, I was like, this looks like something that John Galliano would actually send down a runway.
I know. So, Anthony comes back in. He said he didn't make it to Design House. And they're like, well, were you able to drive up? He's like, I don't think you understand. There is no more Design House. Like, and of course, I'm not going anywhere near a bunch of cops. Are you crazy white women?
Think about this. Audience. That was 35 years ago. And we're still having that conversation.
Right. And I feel like, you know, aside from African-American directed media at the time, you know, Spike Lee, Spike Lee's the only thing coming to mind in the early 80s or the mid 80s.
Early 80s. The early 80s would have been Spike Lee, John Singleton was in like the mid 80s.
Yeah.
What's his name? Mario. What's that guy's name that was a terrible actor? Mario something. I can't remember, but it was his father that was like a big director at the time.
I mean, and the other side of this is, of course, the Cosby Show, which is on, which is not showing that side of things. It's showing the professional, Bill Cosby would have said what the African Americans should aspire to.
Yes.
Other people have said the minstrel show, like a better term.
Well, you know, for Cosby too, like at that time, I mean, for a lot of the audience that doesn't know this, I would definitely recommend you go back. Not that I want you to put any money in Cosby's pocket, but if you ever want to see what Cosby was like before he got gentrified, go back and watch some of his 70s movies that he did with Sidney Poitier, so you can actually see what he built his career off of before he became Mr. Gentrified Cosby.
Yeah. But this is probably the first time in white media that this has been like shown.
Yeah.
And it's shown in a very not glossed over way, but in a very comfortable way. So to the white people are like, does this really happen?
Well, not to give any foreshadowing, but like if you companion this with the next episode.
Oh, we're getting to that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We're not going to talk about that in this one, audience. So that's their next episode.
Yeah. So they all start to blame her, of course, because who else could have done this? And then Suzanne comes in.
Wait. Can we pause for a second? Because I have to say, they said something in this particular moment that I was like, oh my gosh, this is totally what just happened. Which is when Julia says that she's going to come back with some cock and bull story about what happened and then fly off to Barbados until nobody remembers it. And all I kept thinking was, oh my gosh, she's talking about Ted Cruz. Right? Like, I literally was like, oh my gosh, she's talking about Ted Cruz. Like, this is it.
And I just want to give a little props out there to A.D. Bryant, who is doing the best Ted Cruz impersonation. You know, she's still in full eye makeup too, which just makes it even better.
Yeah. Like,
80, you get 2 golden stars, girl.
2 golden stars, honey. Yeah.
So Suzanne, speaking of comic relief, Suzanne walks in that bedspread with the huge sunglasses on, hair looking perfect, and she like is upset. Papers, everyone, papers. She's upset. And like,
I think it was the thing about it, right? Is that here, I love this right here. This is my favorite line, and I kind of want to put it on a T-shirt, right? This is, if we ever have merchandise, this has to be on a T-shirt. Is when Suzanne says about herself, "I know what I am, I know what I did, and I deserve to die." I was like, oh my gosh, if I really wish that back in the 80s, merchandising was the same thing as it is now, because I was like, that would be on a T-shirt.
It's absolutely true. So Charlene asked her, did you know that you were being filmed at the time? And she says something like, no, I thought it was Japanese tourists. Yes. And then Maryjo says, wow, being in a fire has made you clever.
Yeah.
Like, oh my God, mildly racist and clever.
Yeah, man, you know, that's another amazing thing, right? Like, there's so many dated references here that young people are not going to get. Like, so for anybody that, when she said that, if you're watching the episode, it was a joke here in America, because anytime Asian tourists came, they were taking pictures. Now, of course, all other races were also taking pictures, but for some reason, we as a country decided to fixate on Asian people taking pictures because they did have more advanced cameras. And so it was like a run. When we say running joke, we mean for years it was a running joke, like literally years.
So if you ever go to Asia, there are very specifically Chinese, like mainland Chinese tours of like museums and stuff. If you've somehow learned Mandarin before then, I suggest you go on one of these tours. They go through museums in like 20 minutes, go to the highlights of each point, and then leave the museum. It is insane to watch. When I was in Taipei, I was, wandering around like their national museum, and all of a sudden this tour group came through to bam, one thing, bam, the next thing, bam, the next thing, and then just left. And like, it was, I don't know where that came from. I guess Asian tourists, but okay, yeah, it was a wild culture shock for me.
I'm going to interrupt us for a second here because something just happened on my Apple Watch.
Uh-oh.
Thank you, Apple, for your Apple Watch. Disney Plus has added the negative depictions disclaimer to the Muppet Show.
What?
So basically, that's what they put on anything that has any sort of stereotype, any sort of anything that... So I'm sitting here thinking, like, what was on the Muppet Show? Not that we're going to go off on that topic, because that might actually be another podcast that we do later. But, yeah, isn't that crazy? Like, talking about, like, looking back in time and starting to put disclaimers on everything.
The Swedish Chef, maybe?
Maybe. I don't know. Who knows? We'll find out later. I'm going to go research that later. We'll talk about that during Machinations.
Yeah, next week. I do apologize. This is going to be a 2-week break for Machinations, listener.
Can we talk about Clinton? I really would like to know.
Clinton Summers was there with her. Was he the random person from the
That's what I was thinking. I was like, is that Clinton? Is that the guy?
Like, did you see anybody in the shot with her? Did you see a guy? Me either. I just saw Suzanne.
Yeah.
But apparently there was...
But they did say he was under the blanket.
Right.
So I was like... I went back and I rewound it a couple of times. And I was like, I don't see a guy under a blanket. Like,
yeah, me either.
So I was like, maybe they were just saying it as if like... Well, also, because Suzanne actually got interviewed, so yeah. I guess there was a part of it to the whole thing that we didn't even see. So... Yep.
And she did get interviewed, and I'd like to tell you, Auntie, she could go to prison for negligence.
I didn't know that was a thing.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah. Well, no, it'd have to be wanton negligence. Like you just left a fire going, and she would just have to pay the bill. Like it's not. It would be insurance fraud. Is basically what they're saying she may have committed. Yeah.
I was really like, I don't know the first thing about law other than to keep my black ass from getting in front of the police. So I was just like, I don't even know what that is. So
I'd call you more mid-caramel, but that's just me.
Ooh, thank you.
You're welcome, honey.
Except when it gets dark outside. I'm real ambiguous racially until it gets dark, and people are like, I think he's black. I'm like, yeah, there we go.
And then you put on a wig, and they're like, I think that's a black woman?
Yes.
Oh, God.
I got black church lady arms now because of COVID.
Oh, nice. I would like to tell you a little story real quick before we keep going. One time I was on a floating Pride, and there's always protesters. Westboro Baptist Church comes out to every Pride. They send 2 people to each one. Some people, their protesters started screaming at me. I was in a cheerleader outfit that was a midriff.
I remember that one.
And the protesters began screaming, ma'am, you need to put on some clothes, ma'am. God doesn't like it when women do that, ma'am. And I was like, if you think I'm a woman, there's something wrong with you. Because I didn't shave. And I am very hairy. Anyway. Suzanne, Anthony, Suzanne.
I remember.
What? Go ahead.
So good in that outfit. You look so good. You look so good in that outfit. Let me just say, you looked amazing. We should actually put a picture of that on the Maim and Mims Instagram.
I think I have one somewhere. I hope. Suzanne asked Anthony to take the rap for her because he's been to prison and he knows what it's like.
This one's the most disturbing part of this episode for me. I was just like, that's a little much. Like, we could have actually... Yeah, think about it. It's like this, right? That scene, it was so short also that it didn't even technically need to be there for any of it to happen. I was like, did you guys have to do that?
No, they didn't. So Suzanne is just defeated. She's sitting in a chair. Charlene says she'll go to jail with her too. Maryjo comes up and says, I'll go too. Julia's like, no. And Charlene's like, but it's one for all and all for one. And Julia's like, they won't believe it, but sure, whatever.
I love that part. I was thinking about it in terms of, because I was listening to another podcast, which I would recommend to everybody. It's whatever. It's called Newcomers with Nicole Byer. She watches like past things that everybody never watched. So I was listening to the episode about Lord of the Rings, and I thought about when they're like, I'll bring my blank, and I tried to think about what all four ladies would bring to the party. And so like for Maryjo, I thought meek sarcasm. For Charlene, I thought seduction, but also ditziness, right? And but I could not figure out what Julia was going to bring that would actually be of help in prison.
Her elephant gun.
Oh, I forgot about the elephant gun.
That's next episode, but
oh, it's true. Yeah.
So they all hug, and Charlene says, I feel like we're on the last episode of Mary Tyler Moore's show, which, dear listeners, if you've never watched the Mary Tyler Moore show...
Shame on you.
Shame. Well, Boyd shows back up and just wanders in.
Bless you, Boyd. Bless you.
And he goes back and forth, and he's like, well, the cause was bad wiring. And Suzanne was like, wait, it wasn't the fact that I dried my bathing suit in the oven or, roasted marshmallows over a cigarette lighter? And he was like, no, we know about the cigarette lighter. We saw it, we found the marshmallows. It was bad lighting.
Bad wiring.
Bad wiring.
And that was a weird line, by the way. Like, I know that I can get really nitpicky, but they said that it wasn't even bad wiring; it was inadequate wiring. I was like, wait, why that word? Like, that doesn't even make sense.
Because it does.
Okay.
Because if they just did the positive and negative and didn't put in ground wiring. Yes, that's inadequate. Or if they did something like it wasn't rated high enough. Look at me being all technical when I really don't know what the hell I'm talking about.
I mean, I get that, but I think about from the perspective of the audience.
Yeah.
The audience in 1986 know what the word inadequate wiring meant?
It's probably a Boydism because it's probably just his way of talking because he seems like he's bougie, right?
He does seem like he's bougie.
And he's trying to impress these ladies.
These ladies with the breast.
So Suzanne is like, I am done being a decorator. Lunch is my forte. And Boyd is like, well, okay, I'll take you all out to lunch. Suzanne goes, no. This is my job. And I know you wanted to be with the best breasts in Georgia, but you're going to just have to deal with the top two.
Which is a great line.
End episode. It really is.
That's a great
really is. Well, Auntie, did you enjoy this episode?
Oh, Design House is actually one of my all-time... Actually, this one and our next week's episode are actually two of my all-time favorites of all of them because of, all of the characters that get introduced. Like, I genuinely, although he is scum, I actually like Boyd. Because the actor is just always so consistently funny. I love it.
I agree. This is one of my favorite episodes. And, you know, it's very odd that we've gotten 2 of the best episodes in Designing Women already. It scares me a little for what's coming up in the future, like the last 2 seasons.
We're gonna do it. We're gonna do it.
We are. Oh, the actors. Oh, God. Trisha Duffy. Anyway, did you find a Miss Georgia World?
Yeah. So I actually do have a Miss Georgia World this episode. My Miss Georgia World this week's is Boyd. Because number one, Boyd was classy and he was sassy and he actually was dressed really nice. And I thought, you know what? I think Boyd is my Miss Georgia World this time. Even though you're sexist and you're a bit misogynistic, I was like, you know what? I actually do think that will be an adequate title for you. Because he was kind of like cock of the walk.
Yeah. So my Miss Georgia World, I don't know how you could have chosen anything different than this, so I apologize for changing. Suzanne in the blanket with the glasses, she somehow makes a bedspread look chic. Like, she comes in heels and huge sunglasses, hair a little bit crazy, but still perfect, and she rocks the hell out of it.
I mean, let's remember, though, because you as a drag queen and I as a drag queen, you know that it all comes down to the silhouette. And when she showed up at that door, they had made that thing into a silhouette, unlike when she was first carrying it on camera in the little interview thing.
As RuPaul told Tia Coffee multiple times, you gotta cinch that.
That's right.
And they cinched that.
They cinched it. I could tell that they cinched it. You could tell that they had wrapped it tight and they had her arm holding it in place so that she still had her shape.
Which means that Suzanne Sugarbaker, in fact, figured that out herself, which makes her an even bigger Miss Georgia World. Pew, 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 pew.
That's like Miss Georgia Universe now. Like, jeez.
Yeah. Oh, goodness. So next episode,
I'm so excited.
Is going to be episode 7, Perky's Visit.
If y'all know who Perky is Julia.
Hold on. No, these are going to be released separately, so we got to talk another minute or two before I'm not released. I guess I could just edit this all into one, couldn't I?
No. These are going to be separate. So This is separate, but the audience should know because they have to put it off for a week before.
Hold on. We need to wait a second. The cat is taking a poop. And he is scratching. And we've got to wait for that to be done because
my cat's just sleeping. My cat's just over in the corner sleeping.
Cat. This is his poop time. It's 4 o'clock. He poops. He eats at 5. If he eats like
mine poop, generally mine poop when I'm about to start my day. So normally they come and follow me in when I'm starting my day. They come in and do their poops, and then they leave the room and go hang out by the windows.
Okay. No, mine comes in. I don't know about the morning poop, but the evening poop is around 4 o'clock because he's got to get ready to annoy us to feed him from 4 to 5. If he does not eat by 5, he becomes so annoying.
How annoying does he become?
He becomes so annoying that I don't have a punchline. Like, it's just... I'm sorry. I know.
I was trying to have a little match game moment there.
I know. How annoying does he become?
I only have one cat that does so. The audience is like, are they just talking about their cats? Yes, we are.
Yes.
So I only have one cat that does the annoying, like, feed me thing. But the problem is that we have open feeding for our cats. Mm-hmm. So it's actually not that she doesn't have food. It's that she can see the bottom of the bowl.
Is it Cordelia?
Yes. Okay. You already know who it is.
How old is Cordy now?
My Cordelia will be 18 this year.
Holy.
Yep.
Oh my goodness.
Still walking around, still jumping on the couch, still ornery as ever.
God. Still hungry?
Still. You know what? She actually has lost a pound. or two in like her old age.
That's not bad though. Like, as long as cats keep some weight on them, they're healthy for a long time.
I think it's because our house is spread out that it's just easier for her to move around. So she kind of gets exercise just from walking around because she likes to hang out in one room that's on the opposite end as where the food and the pooping is.
Uh-huh.
So she has to really walk to get to it and then go back to her spot.
She's like an elderly mall walker.
Literally.
Yeah.
Literally.
Yeah, and she retired to Florida.
Literally.
Oh my God.
Literally.
You have a Stell Getty in your house.
I do. Oh my gosh. I'm so happy. Or as others might note during our podcast, Bernice Clifton.
Oh, Bernice Clifton. Let's see if my cat's done. Did he escape? And I didn't even... Hold on just 1 second. Let me see if he's still in there. I don't know what he would still be doing in there, but let me make sure. Like, it's just right here. Oh, goodness. Are you in there still, Cat? No, okay. There's just one huge flaming turd. That's all there is. Hey, Hillary Clinton. This is my Hillary Clinton t-shirt from...
I love it.
Back when she should have been president.
Oh, yeah. That time.
Not the first time that I voted for her. I voted for her 4 times. I'm just throwing that out there. 4 times. 4 times. I just didn't think Barack Obama had enough experience. I was wrong.
He was very young at the time.
He was. And for those of you that say Hillary Clinton's chivalry and, you know, she wouldn't have gotten anything done and that she's horrible, evil, and she's not progressive, this woman is one of the most progressive Democrats there are, and I hate it when people say that. Also, just because she knows how to game the system does not mean she's not progressive.
But also, you probably shouldn't be listening to this podcast.
Thank you.
So thanks, but no thanks.
Yeah. Oh, goodness.
So,
well, let's move on to episode 7.
Okay, wait, we need to formally end the episode before we jump into the next episode.
Oh, I thought we did end the last episode.
We were just talking about cats and cat poop.
Oh, good Lord. Well, I will cut it around.
I tried to end it earlier. You're like, no.
Okay, next episode is Perky's Visit.
Perky's Visit. For everybody that has no idea who Perky is, that is Julia and Suzanne's mother.
Oh, my goodness. All right.
The one who doesn't have a birth certificate.
All right. All right, Auntie Maim.
Remember, audience, you can follow us on the social medias at Mims and Maim. If you like our podcast, please follow or subscribe. If you would give us some awesome reviews on iTunes, that would be very nice as well. So hopefully you've enjoyed our bit of madcap mayhem, and we will talk to you in a week.
Wait. Tell them where they can follow you.
Oh,
Auntie
yeah.
Maim.
Sorry, I was being selfless. You can...
This is show business. There's no business like show business like. I need to stop right now because there's copyright.
Yeah, don't do that. So you can follow me on social media at auntiemaim, MAIM.
And you can follow me on Twitter at designingwomen. And please, you know, if you get a second and you decide to want to throw some coin our way, we do have a Patreon, Mims and Maim. Last time I checked it, we had 0 supporters.
Yes.
So anything more than 0 is better than 0.
We're gonna have to start doing like maybe bonus content for people.
Oh, bonus content! You know what? If we get 1 Patreon supporter, Auntie Maim and I will record an episode. Or what we're recording right now, we will post the visual episode on Patreon for you. So you can see this. But I need to know that we have 1 person out there so I can, you know, not just look like a shit monster, excuse my language. I'll actually put on a wig.
Whoa.
I got a new one.
Oh my gosh.
No, it's a surprise.
Oh,
It's blonde.
You're gonna do a blonde color?
I'm actually doing a natural color.
What in the world? I'm speechless right now.
Well, there's a first for everything. Well, see us next time for episode 7
Bye,
Kirby's
y'all.
visit.
Bye, y'all.
Ah.